Howdy y'all, this is AR Cavally. Welcome back to my channel, and we're going to return to Beta Canum 4, Beta Canum Venaticorum, and see if the Black Scorpion mercenaries hired by some shady French intelligence organization can get rid of our team. And for them, getting the orange box back is not even really part of their mission. It's just like a, target of opportunity, maybe. They can get back. Their goal is to eliminate the people who took it because, well, they weren't really told the real reason why, but the real reason why is because the French intelligence think that whoever did it may be in cahoots with the Kafir, and they don't want people knowing that the Kafir landed on the planet. That would not help the Imperial reputation, you see. All right, so where we left off last time is our team they had like 1 hour of fuel, so they had enough to go 200 kilometers if they're being safe, which they're not that great of drivers. Of course, the other guys aren't either, so, but they are going to try to lose them. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a contested, is that what this game system calls it? We're going to do a contested roll. They call them competition tasks. All right, so our team, we're going to use Xiao Mei's. First, we're just going to try to see if we can lose them. Like I said, with the drones, it's going to be kind of hard, but when they're going full speed, the drones aren't quite as useful because they can't like gain on them. So they're going to, when they realize, it'll be more of a, if one team loses the other, then it'll be more like they stop and then start searching. Now they do have an idea of where they might be. So, all right. Zhao Mei, she's going to be leading. And who's the, okay, so the driver, oh, did I say teams? Yeah, okay, so the teams work together. All right, so the driver on team two, our team doesn't know, our guys don't know that there's a second team that's now joined the chase. Or actually, would they? They did use that, they did use the sensors or the drone. But in any case, so they are basically just kind of whoever rolls the best. The goal in this case is they're going to try to catch up or at least to stay on track, because they have a pretty good idea our team's going to run out in 200 kilometers. Now our team, they may decide that they just need to look for some French authorities, but we'll see. All right, so driving roles, hover vehicle. Red is our guys. Oh, all right. So, not great. Their guy did great. So, they follow us around like Pepe Le Pew, and we're trying to flee, trying to get out of there. Um, let's see. And I think that'll take us to where we run out. Our guys, I don't know. No one's actually been shot at yet. Our guys do not want to cross the law. They don't want to, bring attention to themselves. So they're not looking to steal hydrogen. Um, but both of those guys are close on their tail. So uh, this long chase may actually turn more into a firefight, which might be interesting. Might kill all the player characters, but you know, such is the harsh world of 2300 AD. All right, so they definitely, I think we run out of gas and we realize it. Are we able to find a, we know we're running out, so we're gonna look for a defensive place. Again, either uh, might be, uh, 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 you know, it might be an abandoned building or something like that. We are in a hex that somewhere has a fusion plant, but um, do we find a good place? Even no. All right. So once again, we don't find a good place, but we do find a place. Now, of course, they're completely full. They're good. Uh, their drone. We see their drone as we basically we try to. I guess we circle the two. We circle the two songbirds and get ready for some action. All right, so let's switch over here. All right, we'll just make our set up our board here. And let's say that our folks probably not going to be in the vehicles, um, but kind of using them. So they didn't really get good, like I said, they didn't find good defensive positions. Um, but we'll set them around here. They do some quick enfilade. There's Xiao Ming, there's Gordon, Horatio, and Stefan. And here's Bandit 1 and Bandit 2. Bandit at 3 o'clock. All right, so we're basically on the defensive. We're waiting for them. Are they going to try to... Would they try to convince them? Maybe they would. We'll see. I say it's even odds that they're going to try to convince. They're going to try to talk them. Say, hey, buddy, we're just here for the... we just want to ask you some questions about that satellite. That kind of thing. All right. Let's see. What are their tactics going to be? Are they going to try to stay in the vehicles and maybe, try to be hard to hit, like drive around and hoot and holler? Oh, no, they were going to, if the talking part doesn't work. Okay. Are they going to try? I'm going to say even. They're going to try to try to parlay. Okay. No. So they're not even going to bother that. They've been chasing these people for days at this point, and I think they figure the game is rigged, or not rigged, but the jig is up. They're assuming that the PCs already know that that they're there to kill them, basically. All right. Now we do have a veteran. I've got all the characters written down. One of the things I do like about the way 2300 set up is that with the NPCs, it's very easy to just the NPC, they just have a primary skill, secondary, a coolness rating, and an incapacitation. And it's just like a line with a couple of characters on there for their stats and everything. So okay, let's see. Are they going to go in? They're going to go in rushing, and they're going to go rushing in and try to sweep by and because they're just there to kill them. So, are they going to do that? Uh, yeah, I think for their first time they're going to do that. So they break from the woods, or not from the woods, but they come into view. We'll say. Um, all right, now normally I've got the range set up so that um, a character, so that each one of these is like one hex is like I think 10 meters, or well, not one hex, but it's those bars are kind of in the way, aren't they? Come on. Oh, okay. I guess at that zoom level. Anyway, I got it basically set up so that the tokens are moving like 10 meters kind of per little what it sees as a hex. So if they're running like they're moving about 40 meters for one movement, one regular movement action, and then 80 if they want to, go full out run on their second. So that's kind of the scale that we're at. Um, so I think the first round, yeah, I think they're just going to. These things have a 500 meters, so they're a 500-meter range. So they're basically, whoops, um, yeah, they're going to essentially just go off the edge. All right, so our guys going to take cover, and while these guys are rushing. All right. So our first actor, our first going down by coolness under fire. This does have a pretty decent like a tracker. And I might use that, but you know what? I think I will use that. So let me pause for a moment so you don't have to watch me fumble with my menus. All right, so I've got them here. The other thing that's helpful about this, setting it over here, is that I can, like, if people get damaged or whatever, and that lowers their initiative, then I can just do here, and that'll keep track of that. While they're all in the vehicles, I'm basically just keeping the vehicles. Bandit 1, the leader of that actually has a little bit higher as a veteran, but I'm just going to average the them in there and put them all at 6. So the moving and the firing. All right, how far away? Because we might get some distant shots at them. They're charging. I think at this point we know that they're not good, so we're willing to at least fire some shots to start with. But given the terrain and where we're at, um, how how far how close are they before they come in the open to where we can get? Okay, so um, about midway. So I'm going to say probably maybe 500 meters. Before that, it's too close, or the terrain's too bad or whatever. Um, all right, so that puts everything in effective range. That means that, well, it puts the people in effective range. We're gonna start shooting. Uh, he's just gonna start shooting at that thing while it's at. I'll give him. It'll be, they're gonna wait and do his shots to wait till they're right at the edge of his effective range, since that's when they're coming in. So we'll start with Gordon Wooford. So we'll give him 500, and it is a larger vehicle, but it's kind of moving around a lot, since he's not aiming for anyone in particular or any spot like that. So um, I'm just going to leave it at the normal difficult. So 10 or better to hit at that range with all the debris, and he's moving pretty fast. So I'll say that the size and anything else kind of cancel out. So he pops out his old trusty M2 assault rifle that saw him through many battles, and rate of fire 3 with a combat rifleman of 2. So 10 or better. All right, one hit, one miss. Okay, so one hit. So he's snapping shots off. He gets one hit. Where does it hit? Okay, so it hits the plenum. Now at this range, The DPV, the damage point value of the M2 is 1, and these things have an armor plenum of 0.3. So that means essentially that 0.7 gets through. We'll say he's just hitting bandit 1. So that gets through. Um, that causes a certain number of points of damage. I think it's just 1. 1 second. All right, so if I'm reading this right, there's a formula about dividing the damage point value by the armor, but in this case, because it did penetrate, because it's only 0.3 versus a 1, and if the armor value is less than 1, divide the damage point by 1. So I think it does 1 point to the suspension of Bandit 1. And I think, let's see, I'll just keep track of it here on that. So he does get a hit. Wing. Um, Now it's not being auto fired or anything, so I'm not going to make them, especially since it was just one shot. They probably didn't even know they got, because the other 2 bullets missed. All right, so next is Horace Mares. I don't think he has anything worth. He's just got his he's just got a Hancock 940, which is what I call decided to make an automatic version, basically. So he's got an auto pistol, and there's no way he's gonna do anything there. So he's just gonna wait. He's gonna wait till they get a little closer, I think. All right, Bandit 2. Now they've got a driver, and they're driving straight on. Um, so I think that um, they're probably going to do why not? Well, let's see, what's that? Um, so their area fire burst is 500 meters. All right, so I think one person in each is going to, well, is going to spray down the area. So this may not be great. I'm going to count everyone as having uh, armor, from the vehicles, and let's see. I guess it might be nice also. I think 1 or 2 of these guys do have personal armor. Yeah, I think that they might have brought them along with this stuff just in case, and yeah. So 2 of them do have armor, and maybe they'll all die right now. So, all right. So we're gonna have. Let's see. We'll have this guy. He's gonna fire. He's gonna fire a full burst. For those is so 2 rate of fire times area fire value of 1. All right. So he's gonna do 1 or a 2, and then the other guy here too. All right. So they need to hit on a 1 or a 2. They're going to be undercover. And are they going to take cover? That was always one of the things that ducking back. If bullets are already on the way, do you get a duck back right then? I think the rules describe that as so, but I'm not sure. All right, so they're just going to fire in that whole area. So we'll just go down this list here. I think Horace probably will be. Horace and Zhao Mei will both be, I think, behind, hidden all the way behind cover, because they can't do anything. So as they're driving, so I'm going to count those 2 as being completely behind cover. So if they get hit, it'll just be the bouncing off the vehicle. All right, so we'll do 2 at Gordon. One one from the burst from Bandit 1 and one from burst from Bandit 2. Okay, so he gets hit once. And let's see. We'll see about Stefan. Okay, so Stefan does not. All right, now, since they are, well, I need to work his out, but since they are kind of they're sort of NPCs whenever you're playing them, I'm going to have him make a coolness roll. Okay, so I think Stefan, even though he was missed, he's going to duck back too. So he's gonna miss his first action because he ducks back. He panics as all the bullets start winging around him. All right, so let's see where Gordon gets hit. Let's roll this a location here. 8. All right, so he gets hit. He doesn't get hit. He gets hit on the vehicle that he's hiding behind. Boing! It goes in. I'm just going to say that because the DPV for that weapon at this range is like 0.7. So, yeah. So he doesn't do anything. So fortunately, they go screaming up, and now they're driving by, and I think this time, let's see. So both of those guys. Let's see. Yeah, Xiao Mei. She's not going to do anything. She's behind. Stefan, he ducked back. All right, now for the second action. Now they're pretty close. Does he want to try to fire random? Let's see. So his area fire value. You know what? I think he's probably going to unload on one of those guys, on one of those vehicles as they drive by. So he fired 3. Let me do some little ammo tracking here. 1, 2, 3 before, and now he's gonna empty his magazine as they get closer. Now, as they're closer, I'm gonna say that's close range, so his area fire value is 2, and so it's going to be 6. So I'm going to make everybody in that vehicle in cover. Since it is open topped and there's people hanging out getting ready to shoot and everything. Let's see, and that was, let's see. Yeah, so he was shooting at Bandit 1. All right, so Bandit 1 up there at the top. All right, so this is going to be, he's firing 3 shots, area fire value of 2, so that's going to be 6. Okay, man, missed you twice? Oh, come on, come on. All right, so I got that guy 1. How about the driver? Okay, so at least I got the driver twice. And how about the other guy? Really? Man. All right. Oh, but you know what? Obviously, some of those are going to hit the vehicle. I think I'm just going to give anything that hits cover on these guys. I think is going to hit. It will just hit the vehicle, and I think I'm going to say that 2. Or I'm going to say 3 hit the vehicle. Did I do that right? It's like, okay, hold on. I may have completely got that wrong. I did. I was rolling doubles. Yeah, because I was confused from like, okay, all right, I'm gonna do that over, and not just so that I can hit, but I was rolling twice for each person, but I should have only been rolling once for each person. I got confused because last time I was rolling twice, but that was because both those guys were shooting. All right, 1 through 6, miss. 1 through 6, that's a hit. Still missed that first guy. All right. driver. All right, so hit the driver and miss the other guy. So still about the same. Um, and I'm going to say that I mean, surely at least a couple of them hit that vehicle. Um, all right, so maybe only I'll give it two rolls on the vehicle. I mean, he did shoot a lot. They're moving fast. He's shooting off his bursts. So what I'm going to do is um, I'm going to roll the damage. So first it hits this guy. Where does it hit him? In the 10, which I think that's going to be the right arm. Or is that the left arm? Might be the left arm. All right, so it's going to hit him. Yes, it hits him in the left arm. All right, now that guy's he's experienced. Let's see what level wound is going to be 0. So level wound. All right, so that's going to be APV is 2, so he's going to at this range it is 2, so I'm going to say that that's two shock points for him. Or not shock points, but he takes a light wound. All right, so that gives him a it was DPV, so light wound knockdown. So he's knocked down by attack and is dazed. All right, so he's not going to get to do anything. Now he's experienced, and they're incapacitated by the number of light wounds required to incapacitate. So he's got one. So he's still there. Now we'll see about the driver. Where the driver get hit? Oh, in the head. Okay. So that's pretty good. I was gonna have him make a roll, but they have vests, but they don't have helmets on. All right, so Bernat Fila. As the bullets go skipping and sparking off of Bandit 1, the driver's head suddenly snaps back in a red spray. All right, so and they were zooming, so that may or may not be. it would be bad if they go running towards us. So um, I think I'm going to use this deviation because obviously he's out of it, so he's going to swerve. I don't know that anyone else in there would get to use their action. It is kind of supposed to be more simultaneous, but and see, or maybe they would have. So he's going to do that. I'm going to use this little deviation diagram and kind of determine facing that way, because for extra travel, and see what happens. All right, a 2. So that means that he's going to, well, if we follow this, that means he's going to go off this way. All right, so I think he's going to go ahead. He gets hit and he jerks aside, and then the everyone in there loses their initiative as they go flying, and it is rough terrain, so I'm going to assume that he hits something or he flips over. But either way, those guys are all done for this round anyway, and they're probably going to get injured, which actually works pretty well for me because they got a lot of guys who are getting ready to shoot back. All right, so Horace. Now he's not a great shot, but he does have a pistol. And I'm going to say that, I mean, it's not close range, so I'm going to say that he can squeeze off a couple shots, but I don't think it's gonna go too well for him. Let's see. He's gonna shoot at one of the guys who's getting ready to unload on them. Okay, so yeah, sidearm's only one. Because of speed and everything, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it a difficult shot. He has a rate of fire of 3, but he's basically got to roll a 9 or a 10. Oh, look at that! Oh, close. All right, so he actually pulls himself together and he squeezes off 3 rounds. Oh, and I also need to remember I need to do 2 damage, 2 damage rolls on the vehicle. Um, on Bandit 1. All right, so he hits somebody. Let's see, who's he gonna go? I'm gonna say he's gonna aim at someone who's not a driver. All right, so this guy, Pascal Carpentier. All right, so he hits him. Where's he hit him? 7. I think that's a leg. So yeah. All right, so that hits the plenum or not the plenum, but it hits the vehicle, hits behind the vehicle. DPV 0.6. So I'm going to give that. I'm going to say that one hits the vehicle. Did it hit the plenum? No. All right, so that one, it went kaping. It wasn't like rapid fire or anything, so he's not going to do anything. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take care. Sorry, kind of going back and forth. I'm going to take care of the 2 hits on Bandit 1 real quick just to help figure out what's going on next time. All right, so one hit to the plenum. So that's going to be another point to that plenum. And 1 hit to the body. Now, close range, the M2 has a DPV of 2, so that's enough to get a full point past the vehicle damage. Let's see. And I think once it gets through the armor, I think you add 1 for every 5 points. I know it's not going to be enough for this, but we'll just see what kind of damage happens. A 1. All right, no effect. So the bullets pass through. They don't hit anybody or anything important. All right, so Bandit 1 is out for now, but Bandit 2. All right, so we've got 3 people in there. Let's see. Well, you know what? That guy's got to reload because he did that. And I think both of these guys now they're both going to unload on us. And let's see what happens. All right, so that's a rate of fire of 2 with an area fire value of 2. All right, so we're going to get 4 and 4 as they each shoot on at us. Let's see. Horace popped his head up. think I think Xiao Mei is still going to be. She's going to be completely hiding. So, um, and Stefan, he's still actually ducked back too. So I think he's also completely out of the picture. So it's just going to be well, not out of the picture, but he is fully behind cover from being ducked back. So he's like laying flat as he can, like inside or next to one of the hovercraft as it goes speeding by. So, all right. So 1 through 4 on Gordon. So 1 hit on Gordon, and then 1 through 4 on Horace. All right. So 1 hit on each of them. Gordon, they're both going to count as being behind cover. Where's Gordon hit 7, so he gets hit in the leg, and Horace 4, or not the leg, but he hits the vehicle. Oh, a 4. I think a 4 is behind cover. Let me double check. I have all this stuff in a handy Game Master's Guide. Woo, barely. Right there. So Horace also manages to survive the slot as the bullets go hitting into that vehicle. All right, you know what? I think I'm gonna put three. I'm gonna put 3 hits against that vehicle. Um, so first, all right, body, and 1 for plenum. So I'm gonna at close range. This has a 1.4, so that's enough to going to do 1 point of damage to the plenum, and then 2. Let's see. So it does two do get through. Now it would be it would be crappy to have that thing explode on us, having survived. But let's see. All right. All right. First one 5 is armament, and there's no one in it, so I'm just going to say it's superficial damage, and then 4, 2 crew. There's no one in it, so I'm just going to say that that it's damaged. You know, the bullet holes are showing up, but it didn't do anything. Maybe it blew out somebody's drinking bottle or something. All right, so other bandit doesn't. Zhao Mei, she's just going to sit there. Still, all she's got is a stun pistol anyway. She's just not a fighter. And, all right, so our second, they also, I think, they would have, they'd be moving, so, zoom. But I think since they're passing by, obviously it's kind of full round and bullets are flying. But old Stefan, he's gonna shoot. You know what? I think he might just try to poke a bunch of laser holes in that vehicle. So he's at close range. What's his combat rifleman of 2? So he's gonna unload 5 rounds as it's driving away. He's it doesn't really go pew pew, but yeah, I gotta go pew pew. It's go pew pew pew. Actually, the little invisible pulses of light cause little sparkling explosions as they burn through. Now he's got an F-19 laser, and that's got a rate of fire of 5 and a pretty high DPV. So I think it's. See, do energy weapons, do their DPVs double at close range? Let me see. All right, so for a second there, for some reason, I thought that it might only apply to kinetic weapons, but now it just says that DPV, damage point value, is doubled at close range. So, all right, 5 shots as this guy speeds by after the bullets have kind of done spinning around from old Stefan. So he needs to get their close range, so 6. And since he's aiming at the vehicle, I'm just going to leave it at that. So 6 with a combat value of 2, so 4 or better, 5 rounds. 1. Really, brother? All right, so 2. I tell you, even playing solo, the dice, they're just not my friend. Unless I'm shooting the other guys. All right. So, 2 hits on Bandit 2. Oh, also, as I was reading that, I realized that when you're doing area fire value, it, people can be hit multiple times depending on how well you roll against that burst value. So it's like every like half, or every time you half it, then they get hit another time. So if it's DPV 4 and you get a 2, then they're hit twice. And if you get hit roll a 1, then they should got hit 3 times. Now I forgot about it on both sides, so I'm not going to worry about that. But let's see if our intrepid laser pistol or laser rifler, obviously still shaken up from all the machine gun fire, all the automatic fire that caused him to uh, cower behind the songbird. All right, so two hits out of five. Can you believe that? All right, a five. All right, so armament. Um, all right, one weapon destroyed. I think that hits. I believe that also hits a character. Let me double check on that. And no effect. Really, really. Had like a super. Oh, let me mark off his ammo. Had a super cool laser rifle, and didn't do bananas. Let's see. Let me just verify real quick. I was thinking the armament also hit a crewman. Um, and I think I might do that in any case for this, just because he did, since it is open and it doesn't really have an armament. Um, I may decide to do that anyway, but let me flip back here to vehicle combat. Right. Armament, one weapon. Okay, it's hit at random, is destroyed. One of the weapons crew member receives a hit as well. Okay. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna say that somebody in there did get hit. Let's see. The blaster went through. Which one? First one. Okay, second half. All right. So Elise, she gets hit. Now it's got a DPV of 4, so the armor. Where's it hit her? 8. So she gets hit. I think that's a leg. Yeah, so she gets hit in the left lower leg, and that's going to give her a light wound, and that's enough to incapacitate her. She's not dead, but she's incapacitated. And they go zipping along, and they will start coming back. You know what I think, just for the sake of making things handy, I'm just going to put these guys more in the center, because they're probably going to come back. They've had one loss and one injury, well, actually two injuries, and but now we need to figure out about this thing. Well, it doesn't have, or at least I didn't find, in a reasonable amount of time, any rules about crashing per se. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll that as a mishap, as a um, serious mishap, and see what happens on the thing. Since I don't think that like the engines, the plenum's going to turn off and they're going to hit and bounce and crash, but they might hit and bounce and flip and stuff. So I'm just going to um, I'm going to roll on the mishaps table as a serious mishap, since they were going at a pretty good clip. All right, 9. Okay, minor mishap. All right, so let's see. Does that hit the? Uh, all right, so I'm going to turn that into a single roll on the vehicle damage table for. Okay, so 2 crew are uh, going to get injured, and I guess I'll just use a. This is still Bandit 1. Um, okay, so which 2 that are left in there? All right, first and the last, and Let's see where their minor injury is. Okay, so he cracks his head. Okay, and that one's just get that. So, um, so it's a minor mishap. Gets cracked in the head. Let's see. But go ahead and roll a damage type roll. All right, so he takes a. I think that's going to be. All right, so I'll just say that maybe it was a blunt. There we go. We'll call it blunt. So he takes shock and a knockdown. Um, Now that guy is veteran. So, but a shock point and a knockdown. So initiative is reduced by 3 for that guy. We'll say he's got a blunt injury to his head, so he's hurt. And the other one was a 9, so that was a right arm. Do the same thing. Okay, so that's a light wound to the right arm. That's enough to incapacitate that one. So light to 9. Since he's that's a green one. So it doesn't go flipping and flying, but it does hit something and spins and causes the commander of the unit. He slams his head on one of the supports inside. Now the vehicle itself. Oh yeah, vehicle itself is beat up, but it's still working. Of course the driver is dead, so they've got one casualty for sure, and the other one has driven off, or they haven't driven off, but they sped off the side there. Okay, what shall we do? Is that enough to make them decide to think twice about coming back around? Um, I think probably so. So I think next turn what we're going to do is Bandit 2 he's going to speed away and he's going to try to get out of cover. Um, but I think our guy's going to fire his laser at him again. But let's go ahead and get back in our turn order. All right, so Gordon's going to reload. Horace is just going to get down. All right, Bandit 1. We're going to end up removing them and well, not removing them. They may decide to stay in there since the vehicle is still working. But they're reorganizing. Bandit 2 is zipping away. Bandit 1, that guy's still, well, oh, yeah, he's the commander, so he's stunned. So they're not actually going to do anything. They're still trying to figure out what's going on. Zhao Mei does nothing. Thanks Stefan. He's going to try to zap. He's going to fire the rest of his lasers at the speeding away. Um, the speeding away Bandit 2. Let's see. So I'm going to say that he's his range for that weapon is 1200. This is the beginning of another turn. I think between the rough terrain and it is a normal size vehicle, and he's still basically shooting at them as they're driving away. Still kind of is in a continuous motion, so he's moving. I think I'm just going to give him. I'm going to give him 5 more shots with the same because they're running, but when he was shooting, they were still within close range, so somewhere under 600. And now they're zipping along. So I think for the first round, they're still going to be in close range. Let's see if he can. Let's see if he can shoot any better this time. Okay, so that's good. Hit, hit. Hit. So that's 3 hits. All right, so 3 hits. That's a little bit better. All right, so it's going to be 3 hits and any on the plenum. No, no. Okay, so 1 hit on the plenum, and this one is actually, so this one is going to take 4 to the plenum. So that's almost half. So that laser, that blast, like just tore a hole in the back of the plenum as they're trying to run away. So one more, and it would have, uh, had some issues. I think if the plenum it takes hits, then it's like it loses half or something like that. Um, all right, so 2 more. So that was plenum, and then 2 more. The vehicle hits 10. Oh, okay, so that's a mobility hit. 2 mobility hits. Oh. Ah, so it could have been catastrophic on both of them. So maybe he does just tear that plenum all to pieces. Um, let's see. Vehicle stop and 1 crew is hit. So, all right. So he does rip that. That thing it's not moving anymore. I will say since he was shooting, it was going that it'll be probably got its 500 yards in or thereabouts for its movement this phase. Um, so we've got 2. So that its mobility is out. So that thing, I'll just call that 10, and we will put one of these little tokens on this guy. Let's see. Well, it's a good mobility. You can put like one of these little tokens on here. I mean, it's not blown up, but we'll put the snail on there. Uh, well, you can't really see it, but there's the snail. All right. Well, anyway, um, I think we'll just put the X on there to show that it's no good. All right, now 2 people got hit by that laser. Let's see. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw the incapacitated person in there as one who might get hit. So, all right, so it's one of the first. Okay, so the driver gets hit, and the other one first. And okay, so those 2 get hit. Now it does have a damage of 4, but DPV of 3 since it's went through the armor. So these 2 guys get hit with a DPV of 3, 7. So that's definitely a light wound. He got a laser blaster in his leg. And so he's knocked down. And this other guy, Pascal. Oh, okay. So that guy, he got vaporized. The back of his head gets melted. It explodes in a sparkling, singeing, uh, well, not quite a bloody mess, but so the vehicle stops. Uh, the driver, who's the Team 2 commander, he screams as a laser burns through his leg, and the person sitting in the front seat next to him does not scream at all as the laser burns through the back of their head, makes their medulla oblongata melt into gray ooze. Okay, we're at 54 minutes, and I think that's a good stopping point in the battle, because one, the mercenaries are pretty much, most of them are uh, incapacitated for a round or two. They're knocked down, so let's knock down. Character is knocked down and is dazed. Dazed, character cannot move or act. Number of turns equal to the total shock and stun points. So, all right, so they're knocked down. Looks like that didn't go very well for them. They probably should have dismounted and maybe moved together, but that wouldn't have fit their particular idiom. But and lucky for our guys too. Like I said, they might have taken some more damage if I'd done the area fire value uh, correctly. But either way, I messed it up both sides, so I'm going to call that a wash. So they've had this. This is not everyone's first gunfight, but it's probably most of their first gunfight. Even Stefan, who just busted out with some laser zapping going on. He was a space crewman, a scout ship crewman, so he probably never fired at any person. It is 2300, but come on, it's not the Wild West. Even the Wild West wasn't the Wild West. Anyway, so that was a pretty dynamic battle. It's not quite over yet either. Those who knows what they'll decide to do, but uh, we will see what they do decide to do next time. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a good time. Happy gaming.